The countdown to week number 6 comes to a conclusion as we have made it to another Friday evening. This week, the Metro Ford of OKC Game of the Week brings us to more as the Lions look to bounce back after a rough trip to the 918, taking on a Deer Creek team that got a huge defensive score, leading them to a victory over Edmond North. Here at Moore Lions Stadium, as it is the Metro Ford of OKC pregame show. And we welcome you to Moore Lions Stadium alongside Connor Pasby. I'm Grayson Singleton, and both of these teams coming off totally different games. Moore led up a bunch of points against Bixby last week in the loss. Deer Creek got a pick 6 from Ryan Keel, who we'll talk about later on in the show, to lead them to a 13-12 victory over the Huskies of Edmond North. What do you see coming here in this game?
Well, it's two different weeks for both teams, Grayson. Deer Creek kind of won it in an ugly way over Edmond North, getting turnovers, causing havoc in the backfield. That's what they did last week to get the win. Moore, a rough trip down to Tulsa to take on Bixby. Couldn't do really anything on offense, couldn't get stops when you go up against that Bixby offense. So Moore's going to be looking to bounce back in a big way, especially offensively. But I like it because Deer Creek played well defense last week. You know what Moore can do offensively. So I think it's going to be a great matchup that we'll have here.
And the matchup that you will see on krefsports.tv will be narrated by a collaboration of booths. You'll have J.D. Northcutt from the Moore side. You'll have Anthony Bellendorf from the Deer Creek side, working in conjunction with each other, along with our own Aaron Copeland behind the scenes as well. And J.D. and Anthony preview the matchup now.
Moore 0-2 in district, the Antlers 2-0 in district play, so playoff positioning on the line here tonight. One of the things that I'm looking at in this matchup is the quarterbacks. For the Moore Lions, Maverick Gardner. Maverick Gardner, he runs really, really well from the quarterback position. He's tough, he's strong, and he's very effective running the football from the QB position. For the Deer Creek Antlers, they have a sophomore quarterback in Dax Chansey. Dax, he's a really good pocket passer. He stays in the pocket, but throws the ball very, very well, and has really matured in the last few weeks of the season as he's halfway through his sophomore campaign. Coaching matchup, that's another thing we'll watch tonight. The Moore Lions first-year head coach Cameron Bennett taking on the veteran head coach Wade Standley. That's going to be a lot of fun tonight.
The Antlers coming in 2-3 overall, 2-0 in district play after a big victory last week over Edmond North, 13-12 at home. They're going to look to stay undefeated in district play. Be on the lookout for Ryan Keel. Had a big week last week defensively for the Antlers. 6 solo tackles and a 25-yard pick 6 that he took to the house. He's going to have a big game if they want to remain undefeated in district play. Meanwhile, the Moore Lions come in 2-3 overall, but 0-2 in district play after they had faced against the top 2 teams in the district between Mustang and Bixby. So they're going to be looking for their first victory in district play at home this week from Moore Stadium. Be on the lookout for Ozias Adams, the big running back for the Moore Lions. He is dynamic in the open field. I'm expecting him to have a big game for the Lions. Speaking of running backs, it's really going to come down to the trenches. Whoever wins on the offensive and defensive line is going to have a great chance to set themselves up for victory.
Landis Green, wide receiver for the Lions, joins us now on the Metro Ford of OKC pregame show. And Landis, I want to ask you guys about the start of the season. You guys are city champions once again after defeating Westmore and Southmore. How important was it to get off to that fast start?
I feel like it was important to build the confidence of our team, especially since we're a young team. Getting those wins under our belt. Just exposing all the sophomores to 6A football. And showing them we could really compete with teams out there.
Yeah, what's different about this program this year? You have a new head coach in Cam Bennett. What are some of the changes that you've seen through the first couple of months of the season?
We've been a lot more disciplined. We haven't been on our P's and Q's all around, but Cameron Bennett has been, smoothing those edges out with our team, and he's been working us hard all season. And now, even when we're losing, he still gives us that confidence to keep on fighting, keep on pushing back, and never give up.
Speaking of the offseason, everybody improves from one year to the other. How have you seen your improvement this year?
I think I've taken a big leap as a returner and being able to make plays when the ball's in my hands. Because last year I feel like when the ball was in my hands, I didn't make too many big plays. But now this year I feel like I got to show my explosive talents and showing I can really make a change in this offense.
This week is a bounce back week for you guys. You go on the road, lose to Bixby, and now you guys come back home and take on Deer Creek. What's been the mindset of this team all week long leading up to this game?
You know, I would say the mindset is stay focused and then just do your job. Don't try to overdo your job or don't try to do nobody else's job. Just do your job, and then if we all do our job and execute, we'll go out there and get a win.
Every team tries to get better and better as the season goes on. Where do you feel like this Moore team is right now?
I feel like we're about to hit a peak. You know, defense, tough loss last week, but I feel like they'll bounce back, gaining some confidence and, gaining some of the people who are injured back. So that'll help our team a lot. And I just feel like
You good.
I just feel like can we do that?
Yeah, we can redo that. We can do that last question. No, it's all good. I'll ask the question again. Every team tries to get better and better as the season goes on. Where do you think Moore is in that type of progression?
I just feel like Moore, we're just going up, just getting everybody back and, getting everybody back healthy, and then just installing a lot of new plays to make big plays against a great team we're about to play.
Landis Green, wide receiver for the Moore Lions. Appreciate the time, man.
Appreciate you.
All right, we're back after this.
Metro Ford of OKC.
Hey, Oklahoma. Dusty Dvorak here at Metro Ford of OKC. When it comes to power, strength, and reliability on the line or on the road, these custom-built Fords don't flinch.
Who really loves you, Oklahoma? Drive home in a new 2025 F-150 for 5.9% APR for 84 months.
Built tough and loaded with torque. That's a win in any playbook.
With insurance premiums on the rise, business owners and homeowners are looking for relief. Insurica is one of America's largest insurance brokers, and Insurica is here to help. Insurica's exclusive process, RM4U, partners with businesses and homeowners to reduce the total cost of risk. The goal is to put more of your insurance dollars back into your pocket. Learn more about our process at Insurica.com. Insurica, specializing in you.
Spending life wisely means taking small steps towards a life of love and impact. And we're here to inspire and empower you along the way. Spend life wisely. First United Bank.
After a car crash, life can be hard. You're hurt, stressed, and then, when you need help the most, the insurance company doesn't care.
They drag their feet, question your injuries, and make things difficult. They put profits over people.
At McIntyre Law, we level the playing field. We take on the billion-dollar insurance companies so you can focus on what matters, getting your life back. Call us at 405-777-7000. You deserve better.
We're here at Moore High School as we get you ready for the Metro Ford of OKC game of the week between the Deer Creek Antlers and the Moore Lions. Connor Pasby, I'm alongside quarterback Maverick Gardner. And Maverick, let's first talk about the quarterback position because you made the transition from wide receiver to quarterback. What was that transition like for you?
It was pretty good. A lot of time spent in the offseason preparing. Not too much work on it the previous years, but I've always been a quarterback and a receiver, so it kind of had skills in both ways. So,
what's it like for you and your team just being around head coach Cameron Bennett so far? We talked to him before the season. Man, he's a guy that's very energetic, toughness and physicality. But what can you say about head coach Cameron Bennett?
Oh, he's really tough. He's one of my favorite coaches, and he tries to get each and every one of us tougher each day at practice. And each game we prepare really hard, and we like to be disciplined around here.
You guys got some big wins early on in the year. What can you say about this offense and the style of play for you guys so far in the season?
Very skill-wise, and we run a pretty spread offense, and we try to get the ball out to our athletes and try to make them make plays out on the field.
Hey, last thing for you, Maverick. We're talking to quarterback Maverick Gardner. Last week, obviously a tough loss to the number one team in the nation, Bixby. What are some things that you guys need to do to respond in a big way to get a win against Deer Creek?
Just play hard and take care of the ball, and just execute when we need to and keep moving forward.
That's Maverick Gardner as we get you ready for the Metro Ford of OKC game of the week between the Antlers and the Lions.
Time for players to watch. And Connor, why don't you lead us off with a guy who made a huge play last week?
Yeah, Ryan Keel for Deer Creek. I mean, what he did last week, being able to get that pick six, he was all in the backfield as well for that Deer Creek defensive line. So Ryan Keel, man, he's a fun player to watch on that defensive side of the ball, and he kind of led the way for them to get a low-scoring win last week over Evan North.
He's a player that's coming off of an injury from last year, so really good to see him see success. How about Joshua Williams? We'll stay with the defensive ends because this dude was a monster last week. Officially credited with 3.5 sacks, also blocked an extra point, and he's third on Norman North's team in tackles. So the defensive end who holds offers from Oklahoma, Akron, and Marshall at the moment has been a force in his first year with the Timberwolf program. And Connor, how about you close things out with Tylen Diggs?
Tylen Diggs, you know what Southmore can do offensively with Taven Hayes in the backfield. His ability to throw the ball, also run and make plays, but they can also run the ball with Tylen Diggs, and that's what makes it a dangerous backfield for the Southmore SaberCats. So if Southmore wants to continue to put up wins in the column, Tylen Diggs is going to have a big performance, as he's been doing so far early in the season.
Time to preview the rest of the games on the KREFSports.tv network slate. And let's start with a couple of Thursday games. And let's go out to OKC, where Piedmont will take on U.S. Grant as the Wildcats look to improve on their 1-1 district record at the beginning of the district slate.
Well, we mentioned it last week about the schedule getting easier for Piedmont after Choctaw. They just had a shutout win over Northwest Classen, and now they get U.S. Grant again. So it's another chance to sharpen up what they do offensively, and this could be a big win that's upcoming for Piedmont, just the playmakers that they have on the outside, one of them being Noxton Rollo for the Wildcats.
U.S. Grant coming off of a 61-6 loss at Stillwater last week. Bixby, no surprise, they're 5-0. How many times did we say they're undefeated? They travel on the road to take on Edmond North, who is coming off of that 1-point loss to Deer Creek a week ago.
And Edmond North, you have to take care of the football to give yourselves a chance and put drives together. That's something that Moore was not able to do last week. They couldn't take care of the ball, and they just couldn't stay on the field offensively. And it's always tough going up against this Bixby defense. That gives you so many different looks. They're tough and physical up front. I'm going to be keeping my eye on Chauncey Cravens, how he responds from last week to this week going up against the Spartans.
Bixby, 12 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions against Moore last week.
Every week thing. Every week.
Just dominant in the 81-6 victory. Norman High, after the loss to Jinx, its first loss of the season, travels to Enid to take on the winless Plainsmen.
The Tigers looking to bounce back after a little bit of surprise last week. You know it's going to be a tough task with Jinx coming to town, but the Tigers end up being shut out. The defense struggled a little bit. That's something that we haven't really said about the Tigers so far this year, just what they have with the linebacker play and the defensive line. So look for the Tigers to respond in a big way and a chance for them to kind of figure out this quarterback position. They've been using both guys, Cash Cordner and Grayson May. We'll see if kind of one of them ends up riding the ship on Friday night.
The first time these two schools played each other was back in 1913. I believe that's pre-World War I.
Yeah.
Norman leads the all-time series 25-13. Norman North, after the entertaining win over Westmore last week, travels to the 918 for the first time this year to take on the surprisingly 1-4 Union Redhawks.
Yeah, Union, I mean, a tough schedule early on for the Redhawks, and that's what just shows their schedule, 1-4. And Norman North, you talk about Nash Henry, his play so far has been outstanding. How many times he's thrown the ball, taking care of the ball, just making so many big plays through the air. But it was the Timberwolves defense last week against Westmore. Although they did give up 20 points, but they also had 6 sacks. So a great play from the defensive line, and they'll need that again when they take on Union.
Norman North looking for only its second win all time against the Red Hawks. They haven't beaten Union since 2016. Owasso is 3-2, and they travel also to the OKC metro area as they take on a Westmore team that is looking for its first win of the year, but got some confidence in that game against Norman North.
No, they did gain some confidence, and you're just looking for this thing for Westmore. I mean, you can't do it all at once. It takes a little bit of time for this rebuild for Westmore. It's a great opportunity at home. You got a Tulsa school coming in. It's just about putting everything together on both sides of the ball for the Westmore Jags. We just talked about Union the game before. Owasso was able to get a win over the Red Hawks, and I'm looking forward to this game and a chance for, we'll see if Westmore can get a win in the column. It'll be tough at home, but I'm sure that crowd and the players are going to be fired up to play a Tulsa team.
And Landon York, if he does end up getting the start once again, played pretty well against the Timberwolves last weekend. Southmore is 4-1 and 2-0 in the district as they look to stay unbeaten against district competition when they travel to take on the Yellow Jackets in Choctaw.
Yeah, it's going to be a tougher matchup for the Southmore SaberCats going on the road. Choctaw, just the big bodies that they have, especially at the tight end position. But Southmore, we talk about the backfield, just mentioned it earlier, but with what they have and the play that they're getting from Taven Hayes, so many big chunk plays for Taven Hayes, and he continues to get more comfortable at the quarterback position for Southmore.
Yeah, Southmore's first two district wins were against Eisenhower and U.S. Grant. Much stiffer test this weekend against Choctaw. Edmond Santa Fe looks for its first win of the season when the Wolves travel to Broken Arrow to take on the 3-2 Tigers.
Edmond Santa Fe, we're starting to say this every week with them, but the defense is able to keep it low scoring for a while, but we just haven't seen that offense take off for Santa Fe, and they're going to have to find a way to put drives together when they go on the road against Broken Arrow, who I thought they had a good win against UConn. UConn's one of the more surprising teams coming into this year, just their ability to put up a ton of points each week. So tough task for Edmond Santa Fe, and you continue to love what Broken Arrow has. It's a big difference from last year to this year for the Tigers.
Yeah, last year Broken Arrow won the matchup 27-17, but like you said, Broken Arrow used that 918 transfer portal very well. They have reloaded. UConn is coming off of that big loss to Broken Arrow in last week's game of the week. They're 3-2, taking on an Edmond Memorial team that is 4-1.
Yeah, Memorial got another shutout last week, and they continue to get the job done on the defensive side. Before this season started, that's position group that we looked at for Memorial. The linebackers and the D-line for the Bulldogs, they continue to play at a high level, and they're going to be going up against an offense that likes to push the pace, quick snaps, get the ball in the air, and also run at a good amount with Wyatt Jones in that backfield that they have.
Yeah. And Memorial, one of their key players, Cam Quarles, he was a transfer from the state of Arkansas. It has paid dividends for the Memorial offense. 26 catches for 468 and 6 touchdowns for the first-year Bulldog. And that leaves us with the Metro Ford of OKC Game of the Week. Moore and Deer Creek as the Lions look to bounce back from the big loss on the road at Bixby. Deer Creek looking to still be led by its defense and the playmaking that you saw last week with Ryan Keel's pick 6 and the way that they were able to hold down the Edmond North offense. What do you see here in this matchup between the Lions and the Antlers?
I look at both teams. They're both good defensively. So the offense, who can put together better drives late in the second half? Because this is going to be a low-scoring game that you're going to see between the Antlers and the Lions. And they've shown how good they are defensively. Deer Creek last week won it in an ugly way, 13-12 over Edmond North. So I'm going to be looking at the offense, who can take care of the ball and who can put together drives late in the game.
You know, it's interesting how the schedule shakes out because this is one of only 3 home games for Moore this year. Yeah. It's a very strange thing. As for Deer Creek, if they are able to win this one, they will almost be assured a playoff spot. They would be 3-0 in the district if Deer Creek comes out on top here tonight. We appreciate you watching the Metro Ford of OKC pregame show here from Moore Lions Stadium. We hope you enjoyed this game as well as the others across the KREFSports.TV network slate. That's Connor Pasby. I'm Grayson Singleton. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the games, everybody.
Metro Ford of OKC.
Hey, Oklahoma. Dusty Dvorak here at Metro Ford of OKC. When it comes to power, strength, and reliability on the line or on the road, these custom-built Fords don't flinch.
Who really loves you, Oklahoma? Drive home in a new 2025 F-150 for 5.9% APR for 84 months.
Built tough and loaded with torque. That's a win in any playbook.
With insurance premiums on the rise, business owners and homeowners are looking for relief. Insurica is one of America's largest insurance brokers, and Insurica is here to help. Insurica's exclusive process, RM4U, partners with businesses and homeowners to reduce the total cost of risk. The goal is to put more of your insurance dollars back into your pocket. Learn more about our process at Insurica.com. Insurica, specializing in you.
Spending life wisely means taking small steps towards a life of love and impact. And we're here to inspire and empower you along the way. Spend life wisely. First United Bank.
After a car crash, life can be hard. You're hurt, stressed, and then, when you need help the most, the insurance company doesn't care.
They drag their feet, question your injuries, and make things difficult. They put profits over people.
At McIntyre Law, we level the playing field. We take on the billion-dollar insurance companies so you can focus on what matters, getting your life back. Call us at 405-777-7000. You deserve better.